You know, you compare these to like the Wimpy Kid movies, which were adapting what was basically a Family Guy funny moments compilation, but I'd argue actually improved the source material by better having narrative connections. The movie actually having an impact on the concurrently produced book series. Now, I could confidently say from memory that the Wimpy Kid book series really went downhill after like 9 or so. The last book I remember liking was The Long Haul. The last one I read, however, was number 11, Double Down. And I'm not trying to be funny with those numbers, it was like 2 done installments that made me give up. But those like later good books, like 5 through 9, were like a lot more organized. And that's probably because the movie trilogy made changes that created motivations behind all the shenanigans, still allowing for many of the book's moments with more purpose. Hell, the third Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie, Dog Days, was a collage between the third and fourth book, with the third act completely just doing its own original thing, but is completely justified because it allows familiar elements to make a cohesive story. Because it's a movie and it kinda needs one, which could primarily be attributed to the fact that the series started out as individual webcomic installments, meaning that the first book was 100% a compilation. Jeff Keaney never really having a grander narrative in mind for its conception of his multi-million-dollar franchise. Each movie installment focuses on a relationship between Greg and someone in his life, including Rowley, his brother Roderick, and his father. And as a quick side tangent, Jeff Keaney, if you're watching this, please just let Greg do the Sandy Hook challenge and be massacred by law enforcement or something. It's logical, he's an incel. Or at the very least, give him some chest hair or Elliot Rodger challenge. Like, Dave Pilkey is a legend, not only because he made Captain Underpants, but because he also ended his cash cow, which I can also recall running out of steam with its last 2 installments, but that's okay because it was only 2 burnout slop installments, and he moved on. He accepted he fucked up and made Dogman, which I've only read like the first one a long time ago, but from what I've heard is also peak and an excellent spiritual successor. Why else is it getting a movie that looks like a pretty fun time? Unlike Greg Heffley, Junie B. Jones and Dear Dumb Diary Girl actually aged. Like he's been in middle school for 19 books plus 3 Rowley spin-offs. Like let him age, innovate, or stop making burnout slop. Much like this channel. So I guess in Judy's Wimpy Kid ripoff movie, she's supposed to bond with her babysitter and Frank, who wears glasses, by the way. But one thing I can give them credit for is that they actually made a fake Night of the Living Dead parody that causes the stupid-ass third act breakup. You know, they could have just pulled some obscure old movie from the public domain or paid a cheap licensing fee for something obscure, but they actually went all out for the homage on this bit. In fact, the original Night of the Living Dead is public domain in the United States due to failing to be copyrighted in the back in the day. In fact, in the United States, the original Night of the Living Dead is public domain, due to failing to be copyrighted back in the day, which was the fault of only copyrighting the film under its original name, Night of the Flesh Eaters, which was changed sometime before distribution, including the altering of the title sequences. Like, they could have just legally used the actual movie and been lazy pieces of shit, but didn't. Which is not something most scenes that involve characters watching an old movie do, like in Kermit's Swamp Years, aka the greatest Muppet movie ever made. The characters go to a movie theater and watch 1948's The Black Arrow, produced by Columbia, which is identified as Swords of Fire for some reason, which could easily trick a kid into thinking it's an original fake movie. Here, it's surprising they weren't too lazy with this one little bit.